A pleasant morning, everyone. I welcome you all to day one of the International Conference on Contemporary Researchers in Engineering, Science, Management and Arts, ICCRESMA 2022, created and powered by Center for Research and Training, National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. So as we march forward towards our academic and professional endeavors with great hopes and aspirations, let us invoke the blessings of Almighty in this auspicious occasion to be highly successful in all our ventures. I request the elite gathering to rise for the prayer song. Thank you, everyone. As per the quote of Chairman NFED, the greatness of any research work is only through its wider applicability. In adherence to this proverb, NFED has been into efficacious journey for more than 18 years. The prime objective of NFED is to create the entrepreneurial cult across the globe. To fulfill this objective, NFED has taken great strides and initiatives through its tentacles like research and development, entrepreneurship training and development, mentoring, facilitating, publishing, creating social sensation awards and recognition, etc. So NFED has created enormous impact in the academic world, wherein its core strength over decades is based on 5 dimensions, namely intellectual knowledge dissemination, quality-centric deliverance, conscientious efforts, impeccable initiatives, and time-centric execution. NFED strongly believes that if these 5 dimensions are not tightly integrated with appropriate strong tie networking, then even the greatest organizations' efforts become ineffective. NFED's conferences have been exemplary and highly remarkable since its inception in 2015 because of its core values and the aforementioned 5-dimensional approach. Also, it is proved by NFED's exclusive importance to academic conferences and seminars hitherto by having a structured and unique website, www.nfedconferences.org. This International Conference on Contemporary Researchers in Engineering, Science, Management and Arts, ICCRESMA 2022, is a unique biennial conference which was constituted by our conference chair and chief patron and founder and chairman of NFED, Karmavir Jyoti, Professor Dr. R. Ganesan in 2020 for congregating the novel research contributions for socio-economic development and societal well-being. And this ICCRESMA 2022 is our second biennial conference. This conference gains importance by having eminent keynote speakers across the globe, which includes underdeveloped, developing, and developed countries respectively on all 3 days. Also, it comprises knowledgeable session chairs for the 3 tracks, namely Science, Engineering, and Technology track, the SET track, Management, Entrepreneurship, and Innovation, the MEI track, and Arts and Humanities, the AHU track. Also, ICCRESMA 2022 has been well received by the research community and academic fraternity, despite its online mode, which is proved through a variety of papers across various disciplines. We have received 134 paper presentations and 70 abstract proceedings, which is a landmark accomplishment during this pandemic. These paper presentations are abstracts are from scholars, researchers, students, and entrepreneurs across 25 states and 3 union territories of India, which represents more than 77% of our nation. So this itself speaks about NFED's reach through its exuberant efforts across the nation. I'm sure this international conference will provide you with a lot of research insights and knowledge exchanges, and I wish you all to gain fullest benefits through scholarly deliberations in this 3-day international conference. So with this brief note, I would now like to introduce our conference convener, Professor Dr. P. Indra. Professor Dr. Indra has earned her doctorate in human resource management from the reputed Anna University, Chennai. She possesses more than 21 years of experience in teaching, research, and industry. Her research area includes finance, human resource management, and entrepreneurship development. She is a Google Scholar listed author whose research contributions are cited widely across the globe. In commemorating her impeccable achievements, she has been bestowed with the prestigious Senior Women Educator and Scholar Award by the renowned National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development, NFED Coimbatore, in its 4th National Women's Day Awards 2017. She is currently serving as the professor in Center for Research and Training and Dean of Academics at NFED, and also the Executive Board Member of NFED Business Facilitators Forum, Coimbatore. I now invite conference convener, Professor Dr. P. Indra, to deliver the welcome note.
Thank you. Good morning, all. I hope this conference finds you all healthy and happy. Well, on behalf of the Presidium of National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development, NFED, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, I heartily welcome our Honorable Conference Chair and Chief Patron, Karmaveer Jyoti, Professor Dr. R. Ganesan, Founder and Chairman of NFED, Conference Director, Mrs. Ramya Kandavel, Executive Chairman and Director, NFED, Conference Co-Conveners, Dr. R. Manimegalai, Professor and Head, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, PSG Institute of Technology and Applied Research, Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu, Associate Professor X. Esther Vimala, Head, Department of Economics, School of Management and Economics, St. Mary's College, Autonomous, Thoothukudi, Tamil Nadu, and Dr. B. Sunita, Associate Professor, Department of Geology, Yogi Vemana University, Kadapa, Andhra Pradesh. I express my warm welcome to our distinguished international keynote speakers of today, Dr. Arabai Modbauli, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Business and Accounting, Muscat College, Sultanate of Oman, Mr. Nanda Kumar, Founder and Director, Covayon, London, United Kingdom, and Dr. Patrick Osatoma Hamwen, Ovia Suvi, Professor, Department of Public Administration and Deputy Vice Chancellor, Administration, Academic Planning Unit, Ambrose Ali University, Ekpoma, Nigeria. I express my profound welcome to our today's distinguished national keynote speakers, Dr. Ratna Nashain, Professor and Dean, College of Agriculture and Research Station, Kerlapal, Narayanpur, Chhattisgarh, and Dr. Garima Gupta, Professor, Faculty of Management Studies, University of Delhi, Delhi. I heartily welcome all the organizing secretaries, organizing committee members, distinguished session chairs, authors of papers to be presented in this conference, and participants to this 3-day international web conference. I'm extremely glad to say a few words about our organization, National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development, NFED, to this elite gathering. NFED is a unique organization which is predominantly into promulgating entrepreneurship activities across the nation. It is driving and thriving on socialistic notion with righteous academicians, corporate citizens, and entrepreneurs in its fold. NFED was established as a virtual organization in 2003 and registered as a full-fledged trust in 2013 with its headquarters at Coimbatore in the state of Tamil Nadu, India. It primarily aims in creating enterprising communities at large in schools, colleges, and universities through its training and development activities, faculty development programs on research, and entrepreneurship development workshops, national and international conferences and seminars. In furtherance to serve the communities, NFED has instituted 2 units in 2015, namely Center for Research and Training, a growth action unit, and NFED Business Facilitators Forum, a strategic action unit. It is through this Center for Research and Training and NFED Business Facilitators Forums, numerous programs have been instituted towards promulgating research publications, entrepreneurship development, career development, employability skills, women empowerment, etc. NFED frequently engages in research and development activities by publishing research articles, conference proceedings, book chapters, and edited books on holistic research, which congregates the disciplines like engineering, technology, science, management, arts, and humanities. Today's international conference gains momentum with regard to research integration and knowledge sharing in the context of contemporary research contributions towards holistic global restructuring, which incidentally is the theme of this conference. The contribution of researchers in the past has witnessed only interim growth and development. However, it could not wholly gauge the systemic sequences in terms of development throughout as to meet the overall requirements of mankind in terms of achieving sustainable and stability. The reason could be lack of integration of research across various disciplines and its integrity towards achieving the holistic wellness of the society. Furthermore, this situation continues due to unidisciplinary focus, wherein the integration perspective towards different stream and its research disciplines and contributions are not fully met. The true essence of conducting any research is to part wisdom. This is basically interwoven with multifaceted applications for achieving socio-economic development of communities. This compels the knowledge sharing through congregation of research across interdisciplines and multidisciplines for overall socio-economic development. Keeping these aforementioned aspects in view, this international conference intends to radically drive on the paradigms of contemporary researchers in science, engineering, technology, management, arts, and humanities. This is the prime reason why the conference has been rightly coined by the conference chair and chief patron as International Conference on Contemporary Researchers in Engineering, Science, Management, and Arts, ICCRESMA. ICCRESMA 2022 envisages into garnering the interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary research contributions across the nation and globe for enhancing the knowledge exchange and transformation. This in turn will bring in a phenomenal development at all levels to meet the future challenges. I hope this conference benefits you and society at large. I once again cordially welcome all the dignitaries of NFED, international and national keynote speakers, authors, and participants to this ICCRESMA 2022. I wish you all a great success in your academic and professional endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Indra, for your warm welcome. No? Thank you so much. Now I extend my hearty welcome to our Honorable Conference Chair and Chairman of NFED, Karmavir Jyoti, Professor Dr. R. Ganesan. Professor Ganesan possesses more than 2 decades of research experience in the field of entrepreneurship and management. He has served in different academia ranging from deemed universities, engineering colleges, arts and science colleges, B schools, and international universities. He has more than 70 research contributions to his credit, which are published in refereed and indexed journals, books, book chapters, monographs, and conferences. He is a global author in women entrepreneurship whose research papers are listed in Google Scholar and indexed in ISI, CSI, ESCSI, MLA citations, Scopus, EBSCO, Kebbles Directory, etc. He has authored 2 books on women entrepreneurship development and insurance management, which have been published at Germany, and has edited 23 edited books. He is serving as editorial member and reviewer for numerous journals and possesses more than 19 years of editorial experience. He has edited more than 640 research articles to his credit, which includes his editorial experience across refereed and indexed journals, conferences, and book chapters at national and international levels. He has organized and hosted 3 refereed and indexed national conferences and 4 international conferences, 4 international seminars, and conducted 44 faculty development programs. He has delivered national and international webinars focusing on research and development, research insights, research structuring, publication strategies, statistical insights, crafting, literature review and publication prospects, entrepreneurship development, digital marketing, etc. He has delivered more than 200 sessions on research and publications, managerial skills, career development, self-management, entrepreneurship development, design thinking, employability skills, etc., and has inaugurated many entrepreneurship development cells across the nation. Also, he has hosted 29 national award ceremonies for recognizing global talents. In commemorating his laudable academic, research, and societal transformational services through upbringing entrepreneurship development, he has been conferred with the prestigious title Karmavir Jyoti by Indian Confederation of Non-Governmental Organizations, ICONGO, in New Delhi on 22nd March 2015. He is the recipient of PFLA Excellence Award for his outstanding service to education and entrepreneurs community from People First Leadership Academy at Bangalore in 2019. He has been conferred with Order of Eminence, the highest honor for his global contribution to research, teaching, and training in entrepreneurship development by the Presidium of NFED in its 10th National Teachers' Day Awards on 5th September 2019 at Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. He has also been conferred with the prestigious MTC Global Distinguished Teacher Award in Entrepreneurship Development in the 9th World Edu Summit organized by Management Teachers Consortium, MTC Global at Bangalore, Karnataka in 2019. He is the founder and chairman and presidium chair of National Foundation for Entrepreneurship Development and founder and chair of NFED Business Facilitators Forum, a strategic action unit, and Center for Research and Training, a growth action unit under the ambit of NFED. He is also serving as the board of director, chief learning and development officer, and chief advisor of Talons Private Limited, Singapore, and director and chief advisor of Unelma Solutions Private Limited, Bangalore, Karnataka, and chief advisor of iGen American Softwares Private Limited, Hyderabad, Telangana, and Synaris Solutions Private Limited, Bangalore, Karnataka. I now invite our Honorable Conference Chair, Karmavir Jyoti, Professor Dr. R. Ganesan, to deliver the inaugural address.
A very good morning to all of you. Thanks for the introduction. Well, you might have seen that journal of this conference narrated by conference convener as well as the conference director about this international conference on contemporary researchers in engineering, science, management, and arts, ICCRESMA 2022. So when you talk about this conference, the conference is enacted to garner the ideas of and knowledge sharing in multidisciplines. Usually, many of the conferences you might have seen, it is focusing on one particular aspect or a technology or a management or a commerce or even arts or humanities streams. But we are taking all the streams into the picture and to know what is the exact research deliberations going on across the world. That is the intent, prime intent, you can say, prime intent of this conference, to take into consideration of all the disciplines which can contribute to the research. The reason being, you can see the ICCRESMA 2020 was in the wake of pandemic. That was the last conference in live, which we have conducted in 2020. And after then, the pandemic has started, and we are seeing a lot of things across the globe happening in the form of conferences, webinars, and all. So what is the reality going on into the research, which we wanted to know? NFED is primarily into 3 focus, basically into the R&D, research and development. And second one is entrepreneurship promotion or promulgation. And third one is on training and consultancy and publications. So these are the 3 facets of NFED. The first facet of NFED, we have conducted a lot of webinars in this short duration of 2 years. And we have seen a lot of people into the inclination of research but how these researchers have to take into a transition or to bring in a transformation. That is one of the objectives of this conference, how to take this transformation to go global and become local when you wanted to implement it. Usually what happens is the researchers we are seeing in this conference also, we are seeing a lot of papers, a lot of abstracts as narrated by conference director. We got 70 abstract proceedings and we got 134 presentations to for the last upcoming 3 days. But the reason is we can see still the research momentum is not expected as the way it is. So the tuning of the research is always required. Maybe in the pandemic we cannot or spend so much of time in live in the lab or in the data collection or in the meeting the people or in taking the interviews, so on and so forth, and that has not given us a picture of what to do with the research. But there are so many researches happening in the online stream. We can see in this our in our papers whichever has come to our ICCRESMA 2022. My viewpoint is like this. I can say that technology innovation and the scientific deliberations, whatever happening, and management trends and artistic aspects and humanistic views to go together in any research to take into a consideration to bring in a socioeconomic development. So socioeconomic development is not the only objective; it has to sustain amidst of any challenges whichever is coming on our ways in near future also, so that the research should give that platform to gauge all those challenges. That is the intent, one more intent of this conference, to bring in the talents across the globe and how they're delivering their talents and how the research is going on. So in a way we are also knowing that what is happening in the research in different streams, and also how they are presenting themselves in carrying this research further in their walks of life. Both the things are important. That is, if we talk about any new technology today, AI is governing everything. The research is going on through AI becomes research 4.0. And if you talk about drone technology, it's already existing, and it is now taken into a momentum now in the recent years, because when in the lockdown nobody can go and do what is supposed to happen. So these are all the advent of this pandemic has created a lot of new normals in the society, and where the research have to take into a learning, or you can say a learning research is always important than the action research. How you are pursuing things, what's happening across the globe, how the tunes and how the resonance are going to have an impact in the future prospects of an economy. All those things have to be considered. That is to be integrated, not only considered, that has to be integrated. Maybe sometimes we always see, once the science stream is presenting something on the IT or innovation technology or any engineering aspects, what about the other streams? The connect is always missing. That's what we feel, because I am a professor of management for a long time into entrepreneurship. The connect of the research is always missing, because entrepreneurship research is totally into the people-centric actions and about the business endeavors or business prospects, or on the financial side or on the commercial side. But what about the technology side? How this technology will be transcended to become a entrepreneur? How the technology innovation can foster the entrepreneurship to grow? That is also the connect. In a way, even the humanities streams to how to take into the people, like sociology or social work, or even rural development, or other aspects, to know what is the fundamental of this particular problem, how to take it to the field. So all those things are all integrated. Usually the conference is not getting integrated. That is another problem of a lot of international conferences, focusing on one particular genre and missing the other genres, where the people have to gain the knowledge. The holistic knowledge sharing is very, very important in the recent times, exclusively in the pandemic, because we are all sitting in our homes and we are all doing our online sessions or online activities. Most of the times we are spending on the computer only. So the transition of information or transformation of information should not collide each other. Rather, it should give the inputs to understand and synergize our thought process to do advancements in our research endeavors. That is another intent of this conference. So that is the objective of this conference, to bring in the people from different verticals. Even the entrepreneurs are there today in the presentation. Even the practitioners are there in the presentation. Even the academicians are there. Even the research scholars are there. Even the students are there. Most important, the students who are having their objective to pursue the higher studies in the research or to go for advanced research are also there in this conference. So that is going to give a different deliberation in today's sessions in all the parallel tracks as well. So that is the other, but that is the other insight of this particular conference. But in general, I feel the researchers to go on with the enterprising class, because I am seeing some of the papers are following the stereotypic aspects of the mainstream research which is happening, but not seeing to other aspects and facets of the research which is going on parallel. So how to include these inputs and fine tune your own research in terms of writing, in terms of publishing, in terms of presenting. All those things are all to be dealt in this particular conference, and through the session chairs who are going to moderate the sessions on different tracks and to give the insights of what is correct and how you have to go about it. So those things also will provide you some insights. Beyond this, the keynote speakers of today's session, today's conference, will be giving the insights on different line of thought on what they are with their experiences across the globe, and as a practitioner of academia, they are going to give their insights to us. So we will see all those things, all those aspects, whichever is going to be a knowledge sharing and thought provoking process of today's conference. Hopefully that will give the synergy and increase our intellectual wisdom to be righteous researchers and to bring in quality academia. That is the prime objective of this ICCRESMA 2022. And with these few words, I wish to express my greetings and best wishes to all the keynote speakers and the session chairs and the private presenters and participants today to get the benefit out of this conference. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Professor, for your thought-provoking address. Thank you so much. I now express my hearty welcome to our distinguished keynote speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Arabi Madbouli. Dr. Arabi holds doctorate in economics from Helwan University, Egypt. He has more than numerous articles published in the areas of international economics, macroeconomics, finance, entrepreneurship, HR, marketing, knowledge management, and corporate governance, and a book publication in microeconomics. He has served as technical committee member in many international conferences and delivered keynote addresses. He is also reviewer and external examiner for various PhD and PhD theses. He is an editorial board member and reviewer for 3 international journals. At present, he serves as associate professor and head at Department of Business and Accounting, Muscat College, Sultanate of Oman. I now invite our distinguished speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Arabi Madbouli, to deliver the keynote address.
Good morning to all. I'd like to thank the organizing committee for the International Conference on Contemporary Research in Engineering, Science and Management. A special thank to Dr. Jensen and to the CRT. Actually, it's a very interesting opportunity for me, and also I feel it's a big challenge that the given time to me is only 10 minutes. So, and Dr. Jensen always stress for all his message that it's only 10, maximum 15 minutes. So I'll try to meet the time, and after the very interesting introduction which has given by Prof. Jensen, I like to only share some insights with you, because now actually the world has felt this crisis, and now it's known as a big change in our world. So we can say now that the systems which we are following and the methods which we are having, we can say that it has been changed. Confidently, I can say this. Now the world has felt the crisis. Okay, this heavily shock all the mechanisms and establish order. And the crisis called, now we can say that all our methods which we are familiar with will not work. So some concepts will be ignored. In addition to this, we can say that some trends which applied before the pandemic will become more prominent in the post-COVID period. This is the trend. This is our world now. Simply, you can say that we have radical change in the boundary conditions of the business ecosystem. This radical change I have concluded in some pillars, or we can say main points. Number one, or the first question we can think together, my scholars and my colleagues: will the globalization work again? In other words, can we say that there is a rising direction towards regionalization? I can say yes. So will the post-COVID-19 world see a retreat for globalization? Can say yes. Now, after the big shock which has been done and the COVID-19, we can unlikely to see that a return to previous globalization wave will be there. Therefore, there is opportunity to address some of the weakness of globalization through a more regionally based world economy, offering a better balance between national and international interests, efficiency and resilience in global supply chain, and between growth and equity impacts. So this is the first point. We can think and we can start research in that we are going back after starting the globalization. Since we can say World War II, we started liberalization of the economy, and WTO started after GATT. WTO came, IMF worked to liberalize the world. Many tough work was done for globalization, but now we are going to regionalization as another direction worldwide. This direction has been done and fostered by another pillar happened, which is that now, after the post-COVID-19, world will be less open to the foreign direct investment. Oh, we are going after this huge increase in the foreign direct investment worldwide. Now we can say that we are going to be less open to foreign direct investment. And we can say also that even before COVID-19 in war, foreign direct investment policies were being tightened due to concern about the impact of foreign acquisition and the crowding out. So now, after the pandemic, we can say that it's likely to accelerate the protectionism trends that were already reshaping the foreign investment policy landscape. Another point, we can together think that export restrictions in time of the pandemic, all of us see dozens of governments have banned or limited exports of vital medical supplies and food. Oh, are these legal under WTO and EU laws? Definitely no. Any country is going to restrict or ban its exports. 2 years back, it was a big issue, and WTO is going to take against that severe actions. But now, this ban has been done, and we can say that measures have been done, and measures have been going towards having banning. So we can say that export restriction, it's there, and there's also another insight to think and to go for research. So now, how the world is going and what the impact of this, all of these dimensions also have impacted the global supply chain. All of us know that the pandemic has accelerated the new movement in supply chain, and the supply chain also in order to enhance the operational resilience now. So now we can say that the supply chain has changed. The supply chain now, we need to rethink in the opportunities came from the new direction in the supply chain. This is another point I like to highlight. What else? Now, again, there is a huge change. We can say that we have in the consumer attitude and also consumer values. We have fundamental change in consumer values. towards what we can say a new era of selfness. Now we saw many examples on how the crisis has influenced consumer behavior and prompted a change in consumer values that reflect deeper change in social values. A shift away from individually, self-reliance and self-interest towards much stronger emphasis on care of others and selfishness. So the consumer attitude itself has been changed. So all of this also definitely has a great impact on the business process itself. So the business process after COVID-19 will not be the same process which was implemented before this. Our new process needs to have more characteristics or other characteristics. Number one, I summarized them in some main milestone there. Number one is flexibility. Now, organization, hierarchy, leadership, business process, all of this is expected to trend in form of flexible working. Out of office working is there, and other working time arrangements should be there. Not only this, the second point will impact the business process is contract. It's considered that preferring flexible local currency indexed, relatively short-term alternative contracts will be among the new trends instead of long-term foreign exchange indexed, guaranteed, rigid and irreversible contracts. The control functions will be changed. Flexible practices can be developed to audit activities, and the development and dissemination of self-control can also provide great benefits. In particular, effective but not control mechanism can be applied to work from home or activities in workplace with less people. A huge change will be there resulted from also the use of technology. The use of technology is a factor that can be extremely beneficial in uncertainty, crisis, and unusual situation. As a matter of fact, during the pandemic process, especially the important benefits of information technology have come to light. And it's expected that the use of technology will increase and be more and more in the post-COVID-19 period. In its technology usage, e-applications, information technology, robotics, and automation technology will become widespread. In addition to this, they may need to make serious technological investment for the management. So the business people need to revise the strategy. So there is a need to have a strategy revision. The change posed by COVID-19 crisis can be seen by all stakeholders as an opportunity to revise corporate strategies and operations. Management, in particular, should explore the opportunities offered by the green agenda and digital transformation to rethink the balance between physical and virtual environments and process. Definitely, COVID-19 imposed a change in the emergency procedure and business continuity. Because with COVID-19 crisis of come, creating business models that encourage resilience, inclusiveness, and sustainability, and make the most of the technological and digital opportunities are expected to be the main trends to ensure business continuity and emergence. Finally, the final part in the business process is sustainability, with the expectation that the concept of sustainability gains more importance. It's predicted that it will not only apply ecologically and economically, but also for all other organizational activities. I'd like also to end by one point, which is how about international entrepreneurship? As Dr. Jensen said that your interest is entrepreneurship. Now we can say that many opportunities have been come as a result of COVID-19. Now, international entrepreneurship is there. The business online is there, which is a great opportunity for entrepreneurs to focus on the applications. All of this work needs work from entrepreneurs. Innovating on a global scale is another insight we can entrepreneurs going. And finally, integration on social and commercial missions. This is a very important point can be taken. I hope that I made the time.
Yes, thank you, Dr.
Thank you so
Madboli.
much. Thank you again for the organizing committee, and thank you for Dr. Jensen and all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Madboli, for a very valuable inputs. Thank you for your speech. And before proceeding, I request all the dignitaries, the keynote speakers, to kindly switch on your video so that I may take a group screenshot. All the dignitaries, Dr. Arabi, Professor Patrick, Mr. Nandakumar, Dr. Dr. Ratna Nashin, Dr. Garima, and all the conference convener and co-conveners, kindly switch on your video.
Arima has come.
Yes, I'm adding the spotlight.
Yeah.
Dr. Sunita. Okay, I think Esther madam and Sunita madam have not switched on. Yeah, Sunita. Yes. Let me take a screenshot. Thank you. And I request all the participants to kindly switch on your video so that we can take a group screenshot now. All the participants, session chairs, all the dignitaries, everyone. Yeah, thank you. Just a moment, please. Let me take a screenshot. Yes, thank you, everyone. So I'm now delighted to welcome our distinguished keynote speaker, Mr. Nandakumar. Mr. Nandakumar is the founder and director of Coveon, London, United Kingdom, and is responsible for Coveon's inception, growth, and innovative ideas. He has steered Coveon by defining strategic direction and offerings, planning and executing growth plans, marketing, and service delivery. Coveon specializes in delivering IT solutions across industry verticals such as banking and financial services, IT and ITES, staffing and manufacturing by providing services on HCM, cloud, analytics, and mobility. Under Mr. Nanda's leadership, Coveon has grown in the past decade in terms of manpower, skill set, and clients. Currently, they serve over 200 customers across 45 plus countries and has provided job opportunities for over 200 college graduates. Coveon Trust, which is a registered non-profit initiative aimed at fulfilling the social responsibilities of various Coveon Consulting, is committed towards the betterment of students and sports enthusiasts. Coveon has also offices at Florida, USA, and in India at Chennai, Bangalore, and Coimbatore. He has been bestowed with the Distinguished Technopreneur Award from NFED in its 7th National Entrepreneurs Day Awards 2020. I now invite our distinguished speaker, Mr. Nandakumar, to deliver the keynote address.
Hi, everyone. Very good morning. Myself Nanda Kumar, and I'm founder and director of Coveon Consulting. I would like to thank Professor Dr. Ganeshan sir, NFED team, and all the distinguished speakers of the conference and the attendees. Wish you all great success from the conference. To start with, myself, Nanda Kumar, I'm founder and director of Coveon Consulting. Started the company in 2010 with focus on business transformation and technology services. Today, we are going to talk about the future of IT and how a green IT will be the ray of hope for the future of global sustenance. As every one of you know, green IT typically means the study of designing of computers and technology items and peripherals to ensure minimal impact on the environment. Over the last decade, there has been a transformation of technology, and today, as we speak, every home in a city or a village has a laptop or a computer or a mobile device. This is predominantly used for education, for entertainment, and also to benefit the critical needs of everyone. So there has been a phenomenal increase in the usage of mobile phones. Nowadays, almost everyone in the world has a mobile phone, a digital mobile phone. And the energy consumption of all the electrical and electronic devices has skyrocketed. While this can be seen as a revolution in the technology, the impact that electronic devices has an impact on the technology, and that needs to be watched. This is precisely the green computing or the green IT focus on mitigating the material and engineer burden energy burden associated with the conventional IT while meeting our growing information and communication demands. The green IT, as such, the word started back in 1992 itself. And over a period of time, this is predominantly to ensure the overall environment has been sustained properly. And also it helps in taking social responsibility and helping the environment for a global cause. According to the certain analytics or analysis, almost 56% of organizations find less cloud usage. But I mean, less energy usage by using the cloud-based technology. And as per the prediction, there will be incremental use of electricity in the computer industries or the computer centers. And by around 2040, around 14% of the global emission will be contributed by IT industry. Currently, it is predominantly based on manufacturing industry, retail industry, or other industries. But going forward with more and more IT into it, so there will be incremental usage of electricity. So we need to do certain activities to reduce the impact on the environment from the IT industries. The major energy usage in IT industry is energy consumption by physical data centers, the servers, and the carbon emission because of the energy usage. And the second major cause is the manufacturing of the electrical and electronic equipments which are used in IT industry, including servers, personal computers, and mobile phones. As you could see from the screenshot, around 60 to 85% of the life cycle energy is being used, and around 50 to 60% for the mobile phones. And any sort of uncycled electronic waste, including your older laptops, desktops, scanners, printers, all those sort of machines also contribute to the energy usage. And also, last but not least, there is high energy usage because of the usage of papers and the carbon emission related to it. So this being said, how we will be able to transform the usage of IT industry for a better greenhouse servers, or better green IT revolution. As you could see, data center design virtualization is one of the key factors which is being used by many companies. Also, you might have learned a lot about the cloud technologies. By using cloud technologies, which runs on energy efficient powers, which are like renewable energies from solar, wind, natural resources, will be much efficient rather than buying a rack server. And some of the products, the digital products we want to use, we need to ensure like there is a longevity. So we need to use the equipment efficiently. Giving an example, if you use a laptop in a normal scenario, it requires 33 watt when it's in an idle mode. Whereas when you put the same laptop in a sleep or hibernate mode, it just uses 1% of energy, which is efficiency of 95%. So the ways in which you can also contribute is by using the electrical and electronic equipments efficiently. Like when you're not using, you can just put it in an idle mode. Instead of idle mode, you can use it in a sleep mode or hibernate mode. And also there are efficient algorithms which are being used. As you could see from the screenshots, so the greenhouse gas emission, especially in the computing and electronic products, is predominantly by the servers, LCD monitors, desktops, laptops. And moving to a cloud will definitely help in cutting most of the energies efficiency. And not just being said, and we are also taking efficient measures at at our company, Coimbatore, to ensure that we help in the green energy usage. Couple of steps we have already taken since 2016 are we are using renewable energy, and we are using solar energy to power our offices, especially in Chennai and Bangalore, and 30% of our energy is taken directly from the solar power. And we use energy efficient lights, off-use equipments, and green laptops, like the energy efficient laptops. And 50% of our servers are cloud servers. As I was telling earlier, all these cloud servers are power efficient or energy efficient servers. And also we reduce the paper usage. So we use a lot of digital signatures globally. 90% of our contracts are signed with digital signatures with no paper involved. And also when we onboard a new employee, we ensure and paperless onboarding, which means like they sign all the documents digitally. So there is a reduced paper usage and carbon usage by like using printers, etc. And we also recycle all our old equipments. If there are any old laptops, desktops, or even physical wires, we recycle them. Last but not least, we also avoid single-use plastics like cutleries, plastic wraps, and we always try to use renewable wrapping items. Thanks everyone. Thanks for listening. I'm sure like we can take the right measures to ensure we have a sustainable green IT that is driven by technology and also by people. Thanks everyone, and all the best for your conference. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Nandakumar. Thank you for this wonderful presentation and a delightful address. I now express my warm welcome to our distinguished keynote speaker, Dr. Patrick Oza Oviesui. Professor Patrick is an academician, chartered manager, researcher, and community leader. He has earned his doctorate in public administration from Ambrose Ali University, Ekpoma. He also holds postgraduate diploma in education, diploma in sales management and sales marketing, and diploma in theology and ministry. He is a fellow of the Institute of Corporate Administration of Nigeria, fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Management and Public Administration and Management Development Institute. Professor Oviesui has 107 publications to his credit in the form of books, book chapters, articles in international and national journals, conferences, workshops, and seminars. He is a member of several ad hoc accreditation panels and resource person to the National Universities Commission. He is an external examiner to various universities in Nigeria and foreign external examiner and assessor to 2 universities in India. He is a chief editor and member of editorial boards of various international and national journals. He is actively involved in community services and has received various honors and awards. Currently, Dr. Patrick Oviesui is the professor, the Department of Public Administration, and Deputy Vice Chancellor of Administration, Academic Planning Unit of Ambrose Ali University, Ekpoma, Nigeria. I now invite our distinguished speaker, Professor Patrick, to deliver the keynote address. And kindly unmute yourself, Professor Patrick. Unmute yourself. No, you have not unmuted Professor Patrick. Yes, and now you can unmute yourself, Professor Patrick. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
You're audible.
Yes, good morning, everyone. I am so delighted to be part of this international conference. I want to especially thank Professor Dr. Ganeshan and the organizers of the conference for finding me worthy to be part of it. My lecture is titled Funding Tertiary Institutions, a tool for effective and efficient management. The major developmental challenge in Nigeria at the moment is poor funding of our tertiary institutions. Tertiary institutions refer to various study and training on how to conduct research at post-secondary level of education, which is made available by the universities and in lesser proportion by several other higher educational institutions that have the authority of the appropriate organs. Okay, tertiary education, tertiary institution means post-secondary level of education, which comprises of the universities, polytechnics, monotechnics, colleges of education, and other higher professional bodies. Ironically, in Nigeria, tertiary education, our zeal for tertiary education, it is at variance with our commitments to the sector in terms of showing financial and developmental commitments to the educational sector. Presently, the APC-led government of President Buhari has just allocated 5% of our national budget to education, as against the UNESCO's recommended standard of 26% for developing countries. So you can see how meager funding of a tertiary institution is in Nigeria. Between 5 to 7% is what we allocate every year, as against 26%. And painfully, even this 5 to 7% being allocated, at the end of the year, we discover that only between 3 to 4% is actually released to the education sector. Painful. Okay? The need for adequate funding of tertiary education in Nigeria cannot be overemphasized, because education is the bedrock of development of every other sector, like political, the economic, the technological, the religious, the bureaucracy, and so on. You need education to be able to run all this. Okay, but that's not the situation in Nigeria. We are not taking serious interest in funding our educational system. Although the private sector organizations recently, they have started establishing private universities, which of course is above the reach of the ordinary person. So the private educational institutions are really for the rich and not for the less privileged, who are a majority in Nigeria. Okay, and it is the business of governments to ensure that every citizen is able to have affordable and right access to tertiary education due to the importance of education to national development and capacity building, in order to bridge the gap between the wealthy social class and the poor counterparts. Of course, in Nigeria before now, we used to have 3 classes of citizens: the rich, in other words, the bourgeoisie or the privileged class. We had the middle class, then we had the masses, the proletariats. But since the past 20 years, that scenario has changed. That we now have 2 categories: the rich and the poor, the have and the have-nots. That's the situation we have found ourselves. That's the situation we have found ourselves now. As a result of the significance of tertiary education to Nigeria's socio-economic development, the need for both federal, state, local government, and even the private sectors to be actively involved in the funding of education in Nigeria through massive injection of funds into it in order to have effective and efficient management of the educational sector to achieve the goals of teaching, research, and community development in line with UNESCO recommendation cannot be overemphasized at all. Okay, there is high desire for tertiary education acquisition in Nigeria due to the fact that it is only through education that human capacity development and propensity to endanger economic development. The national policy on education states that education is a public good that must be made available to every citizen in every country, especially Nigeria, where we have very large, unproductive, and uneducated population. So funding tertiary education is a condition sine qua non for the socioeconomic growth of the country. Education is a costly social infrastructure, we are aware of that requires adequate funds from all levels of government for effective and efficient management of the policies and programs of government. Now, there are basically two sources of funding education in Nigeria. One is funding from the national treasury, what we call the public treasury, through government taxation and other revenues from other government sources. This approach is only applicable to public institutions, public universities. The private sectors don't enjoy this. That's number one source. The second source is internally generated revenue. This is revenue generated by the institution itself and is broken into two major components. One is tuition fees collected by the university. And in public universities, the tuition fees is usually very insignificant, not enough to run the university. The second source is revenues generated by outfits of the university by way of business, by way of consultancy, by way of endowments, donations, and all that. So those are the two major sources of generating revenue to universities in Nigeria. Unfortunately, the revenue being generated even from the federation account or from the public sector and that of the internally generated revenue is not in any way close to the cost of running the university. I give an example with my own university. Our annual budget is 7 billion. The revenue we derive from the proprietor of the university is 2-something billion. And from school fees and every other internally generated revenue is about 3 billion. So at the end of the year, we have a deficit of close to 2 billion naira. And we have to go to the banks to go and borrow to be able to run the system. And we are saying that that's a very unpalatable situation because you cannot borrow money to pay salary. It's an unproductive lending or borrowing. So it's not advisable and the system cannot run the way it is supposed to run. Now, there are plethora of problems or challenges facing the Nigerian university system when we talk about funding. The major problem of funding Nigerian educational system is the dwindling revenue from oil. You know, Nigeria is a mono economy. We derive our major national income from oil. And today, the quest for our oil is on the decline. And as a result of that, we are not able to generate enough to even take care of the recurrent expenditure of the university. That's a major challenge to us. The second major problem of funding education is insecurity. Insecurity in the country. Just last year, the federal government paid close to 500 billion to purchase Tucano jets to fight insurgency in the northeastern part of the country. Imagine 500 billion to buy equipment to fight insurgency. Supposing we have secured environment and we're putting this 500 billion into the economy, I mean, you can see that there will be transformation in the socio-economic sphere. And you need just close to about 5 billion naira to establish a university. That kind of money is not available. Talk less having enough to run the university. The second major problem or challenge we have is the COVID. COVID-19 has seriously created a problem of funding to the university. Again, let me take example from my university. Before COVID, we were getting 270 million on a monthly basis from our proprietor. Immediately COVID came and the revenue started going down. The government came up with the policy, oh, we will not be able to fund the university anymore. Where we were getting 270 million, the government reduced it to 41.5 million for a wage bill of 474 million every month. And that means that the university has to look for 430 million on a monthly basis from its internally generated revenue. So you can see the major challenge we are passing through. And that's why for months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, the university will not be in a position to pay salary. Just imagine a situation where one has worked 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, no salary. How can that employee be motivated? How can he be productive? Why would there be standards in the system of teaching and learning? So these are major challenges that we are passing through. Apart from that, the government is spending so much in acquiring vaccines for COVID. And that again is taking so much money from the various levels of government at the expense of the educational sector. Another big challenge we have is systemic corruption. You know, corruption has become a major pandemic for us in Nigeria. It has negatively affected the funding of tertiary institutions for many, many years. And it's so painful that so many politicians and even some of the university administrators have become agents of siphoning public wealth. They privatize it, and we thought that with the presence of various corruption fighting agencies like EFCC, ICPC, and so on, many others that are supposed to be fighting corruption, they are not able to find out and they are not able to reduce it. Instead, they have turned themselves into avenue for fighting political opponents and all that. So money that we are supposed to be generating and using for the socio-economic development of the system, especially the education sector, are being filtered away by those in authority. Very painful. Another major challenge we have is the political will to fund education by the leaders. Ironically, many of the political leaders are poorly educated, so they do not have value for education. Their own children do not attend tertiary institutions in Nigeria. You find all of them in developed world. Imagine a situation where the vice president of a country will be celebrating the graduation of his children outside. Funny. Imagine the situation where the president of the country will leave for medical treatment with a retinue of aides, and they will be there for close to a month. The cost of running it, the amount of naira that will go into that kind of treatment. These are some of the areas where they filter away our money. The political will to fund education is not there because they don't have the value for education in Nigeria. Rather, they prefer sending their children outside. Only the poor people who cannot afford to send their children outside are left to attend our tertiary institutions in the country. Okay, we also have the problem of inability of the Nigerian state to effectively collect tax. The general paucity of funds due to inefficient and corrupt tax officials. Okay, when government is in a position to collect tax as and when due, and they're able to generate enough money from it, of course, that will help in the funding of the educational sector and other socio-economic development. But unfortunately, tax collectors in Nigeria privatize the collected revenue. Okay, so we don't have a perfect or near perfect system of tax collection. It's only those who are working, who earn on a monthly basis, that we can say are actually paying tax in Nigeria through what we call pay as you earn. Those in private sector who are running businesses and all that, I'm not sure government has any way of collecting taxes from them. The politicians only pay tax when they need certificate of clearance. Okay, when they need certificate of clearance, of course, you have to show evidence of payment of tax. And in that process, they will have to pay before they get the certificate. So these are some of the challenges of revenue generation in Nigeria that is actually truncating the educational sector in the country. A big problem for us. In conclusion, education is the bedrock of any civilization. No country has been observed to have achieved a meaningful development without first making a huge investment in the educational sector. Today, the backward trend in Nigeria's socio-economic and technological advancement has been traced to poor investment in education since independence. Unfortunately, when we gained independence in 1960, we were all happy, we were hopeful, we look forward to a great nation. The educational system was at par with the British educational system. But from 1985 down to date, there has been serious downward trend in our educational system as a result of lack of funding. So funding is a condition sine qua non for the effective and efficient management of education. And a reasonable investment in tertiary education is one formidable strategy of achieving effective, efficient, and national development by less privileged countries. We are hoping and we are praying that one day we'll be able to come out of all these issues so that the issue of brain drain, which is a major challenge to us in the country, will be ameliorated. The medical sector, the medical doctors we have in Nigeria, on a daily basis, they all run away to Europe and America. Lecturers, PhD holders, you find all of us moving away from the country because the environment, the enabling environment for practicing your profession as a professional is not there. So Nigeria is a prismatic society that requires serious surgical operation. First, to remove corruption from our system so that we'll be in a position to fund education. Because like I said, education is the bedrock for the socio-economic development, for the development of all the other sectors. So I stop at this point. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Professor Patrick, for exuberant address. Thank you for all the nice insights you've given about the Nigerian education sector and the economy. Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Patrick.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's my privilege to introduce our distinguished keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Ratna Nashin. Dr. Ratna has earned her doctorate in agricultural extension and communication from GB Pant University of Agriculture and Technology. She has 27 years of association with Indira Gandhi Krishi Vishwavidyalaya Raipur and at various stations since 1993. She has published books, bulletins, research papers in national and international seminars, conferences, and journals, and 561 articles published in national and local magazines and newspapers. She has also rendered 63 radio talks and television shows. As an extension scientist, she was instrumental in rendering services for the upliftment of the farming community with a special concentration on tribal women upliftment and child welfare through midday meal program to combat malnutrition and anemia amongst tribal children in the Bastar district. She is the recipient of many prestigious awards, including the Yasser Arafat Gold Medal, Fakhruddin Ali Ahmed Award from ICAR, New Delhi, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam National Award in 2020, Outstanding Women Educator and Scholar Award in 2021 from NFED. Currently, she serves as Professor and Dean at College of Agriculture and Research Station, Narayanpur, Chhattisgarh. I now invite our distinguished speaker, Professor Dr. Ratna Nashin, to deliver the keynote address.
Very good morning to all of you and my respected conference director, conference convener and conference chairman, and my key note speakers and fellow participants. Today I am delivering the talk on evaluation tools and techniques of for the extension research. So what is the need of evaluation tools and techniques? Because evaluation is the part of a life, and every program needs an evaluation, and without it, it is incomplete. Because and we also need, because the no two individuals are alike, and types of learners are not same, and the tools and techniques are required to gather the information which are reliable and usable, and it has a validity. And moreover, we are responsible for the funding agencies. Then extension appraisal, monitoring, evaluation, impact assessment. Extension professionals' responsibility is there that when program is implemented, so he should have the efficiency, accountability, and resource allocation for that. And this is the program planning phase, that even after completion of the program, evaluation is required to see the impact assessment. Then appraisal is a critical examination of the program proposal. Normally it is before the implementation and funding. Then monitoring is the continuous in between the starts and ends with the program. And evaluation is a one-shot operation. It is always done after the completion of the program, whereas impact assessment is a long-term study. Why evaluation competencies are essential in extension personals? Because to be relevant, extension professionals needs to have acquired evaluation competencies. Because whenever the funding agencies are there, they want to know why the program should be continued, whether the program will be effective, and what will be the impact of the program on society. Then value on evaluation of the research opportunities. These are the you can see on the left hand, there are the number of funding agencies which requires the competencies in the extension personals. So the summary of key competencies, that the integration and evaluation in the program planning and implementation, management of evaluation process, facilitation of the knowledge is required. Then coming to the next, that is the study example I have taken, evaluation of the extension advisory services, because we are, I am from the agriculture field, so we give the advisory services through many of the ICTs. So what we have done, one study has been taken, so stated the criteria, indicators, and time reference. So the result was input, output, and outcomes in that. Then evaluation of e-learning material, this is another example. So assessing the e-learning material as systematically and objectively as possible about what is the content quality, effectiveness and easy of the use, and with the time reference. So input and output can be the key indicators for the evaluation, can be self-explanatory, self-contained, and so on. And we can add more on that. Then the types of evaluation is formative, summative, implementation, progress. It is based on the timeline. Then types of evaluation is the evaluation of focus, that is formative evaluation during the program development stages it is carried out, and summative evaluations once the program is attained the stability. Then evaluation by agencies can be internal, external, evaluation by the stage, ongoing, terminal, post facto, and longitudinal evaluation. It is also known as the impact assessment evaluation, which is conducted after the several years to see the impact. And then the evaluation tools and techniques by the program stages are in planning, that evaluation type is need assessment, feasibility study, baseline study, and tools and techniques can be surveys, survey, focus group discussion, observation, content analysis, economic analysis, BC ratio, that is benefit cost ratio. In implementation, formative evaluation can be the type, and the annual monitoring reports and CASA change and satisfaction survey. Conclusion, summative evaluation, pre and post program data, coherent study, panel studies, and economic analysis can be there. So evaluation designs can be pre-project and versus post-project evaluations can be taken without or with project can be taken, and combination of both for the appropriate results can be taken. Then how to conduct the program evaluation, writing the evaluation proposals. We need of the evaluation, we have to look out the economic, technical and social evaluation questions and objectives should be very clear, evaluation methodologies and tools. So logic frame work approach can be used, or Bennett's hierarchy can be used, so that the inputs, output and outcomes can be taken out. Then budget, designing evaluation, survey, instrument, coding, pre-testing, recording and data collection, data analysis, evaluation report writing, and community findings that can be in a short reports or long reports. So logical framework approach is, as I said, that inputs, that is what inputs we have put in the program investment, outputs is the activities and participation, outcomes is the short and medium long term. So in the short term, changes in the knowledge, attitude, skills and aspirations, opinion, motivation, behavioral intent. In medium, action can be change in behavior, decision making, policies or social action, and long term conditions can change in the conditions, social well-being, health, economic, civic or environmental according to your objectives. Then in Bennett's hierarchy of the evaluation provides a process by examining the change on means, that what you do and what will be the end results through the 7 levels. So one example I have given, that we have conducted one of the training program of the 21 days. So in that we have taken the 7 levels for the study. Challenges in evaluation, establishing a scientific knowledge base and generate evidences in the challenges. It is difficult to establish a control group because or maintain uniform treatments and measures for the long-term exam, as do extension professionals who read as a good practices in the essay will be promote them better than those who do not. So it is very difficult for here to maintain the control group, because as I have said, that no individual is alike. The non-availability, inadequate baseline data on the impact of indicators to see the expanded impacts over a time. Then I have given some evaluation of real ground stories of my experiences, because I'm working in the women empowerment sector. So this was the Bharat Ki Lakshmi. That was a story, that was a program launched by the Honorable Prime Minister to give the emphasis on the women empowerment. So these two were the brand ambassador of this program, that PV Sindhu, badminton player, and Deepika Padukone, who released a video on the women empowerment, women empowerment. And this is the this was the story shortlisted in Bharat Ki Lakshmi. So what I want to tell you that I have given the training to the 780s rural women in vermicomposting, right from the theory part to the practical part. And after that, we have established one company on the name of that Ma Bambleshwari agro producer company. And when I was in a College of Horticulture and Research Station, this program was taken under the vocational training program, that is Mukhya Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. And we have also formed one of the company, and this rural women, they are selling the vermicompost as well as their agro produce, whichever they are coming out with, and they are selling in this company. So another, the case study, this was also on the evaluation of the study, and this is where I am staying now at Narayanpur. So this training was given to the for the value added products here. So it is based on the survey. So we have taken the survey on knowledge about the processing and value addition among the SHGs women first, then training methods preferred by the SHGs women, then third, amount spent on the purchase of the raw material, then the marketing support to the beneficiaries with established agencies to the markets their produce. And the produce which was prepared by the rural women, they were sold in the melas at the Dashera festival, Mauli Mela, Binjili Mela, and all the melas, because this Narayanpur is the, you will surprised to know that this Narayanpur district has one of the block which is totally unsurveyed, and today still it is unsurveyed, and it is known as the Abujmar. Abujmar means जिसको आप बूझ नहीं सकते कि कितनी पहाड़ियां हैं. So we are training the ladies from there, and we are providing them the marketing support also. So training methods were prepared by that woman. I'm not going in details because the time is very limited, and I want to show these stories to you. Then amount on spent on purchase of the raw material. So different how much amount they have spent on different things they have here I have listed out. And then training methods preferred by the SHGs women. So they preferred that video films and demonstrations are very good for the for them, provided that the electricity is there. Then a net profit from the value added products, they have earned 85,000 in year 2019 and 20. So that was the big achievement in this area. For the first time, these ladies have got this 85,000 rupees as a net profit by the value-added products. Then this is one of the story again from the Rajnandgaon. When I was there in 2016 and 17, 40 women were given a 2 cow, and successful case were 18, but 11 women, later on the 11 women were only successful and motivated the SHGs. They also motivated the SHGs members of other villages, and samitis were formed. Sorry. So this is the way we have gone for the process of dairy farming. 11 women were used as a motivator for the different women. Samitis were formed, and they are working according to the norms and registers. And women of the samitis were given the dairy farming trainings with the help of the experts and state departments. Then later on 67 cases were submitted for the approval and sanction, and all the cases were sanctioned later, and 395 women joined in the second phase that we started in 2016 and 17, but in 2017-18, 395 women joined in the second phase and registered as Bambleshwari Dudh Cooperative Society Sunday. Then this was the story which came that ताने सहे अपनों ने भी मजाक उड़ाया पर हौसला नहीं छोड़ा, संडी की महिलाएं दुग्ध उत्पादन से जुड़कर परिवार का मजबूत सहारा बनी, सोसाइटी का सालाना टर्नओवर 2.5 से 3 करोड़. So this was a very successful story, and we have evaluated through the focus group discussion. Then this is the story of the lac cultivation for employment and income generation. So this story is from the Dantewada when I was the KVK head over there, Krishi Vigyan ke head over there. So district administration supported with us by rupees 12.45 lakhs, and we started this training, this lac production there in forest, because Dantewada occupies 67% of the total geographical area of the district as a forest, and moreover the host plant Kusum is largely available over there. So skill development was done, expertise in the management of brood lac and insect inoculation and harvesting of lac was given to them as a training, and they were trained in that, and SHGs were also given with the marketing linkages, and lac production and marketing linkages were established, and 24 villages with 240 beneficiaries were covered under the lac production, and total we have the plant host as 1,009. So these are the some of the photographs for the stages of lac insect development, and the outcome was that the employment and income generation from the lac cultivation, about 6,000 mandates were generated, 2 to 3 female were given the 5 to 7 mandates, and activities taken as a pruning, inoculation of brood lac, fungicide spraying, insecting, and harvesting and scrapping of fungi, etc. And women SHGs, 12 member of the VM Yog Swasahayata Samuh Joda Tarai work for the lac production, collection and selling. This was the only group, we have members, 214 members were there, but this group was collecting the lac and selling the lac to the different agencies linked with the forest department and lac factories, and rupees 5 lakh earned through the lac cultivation on 40 kusum trees from 2013 to 15. And currently still this work is still this group is very active and continues the work with the net profit of rupees 9 lakhs per annum. Then this was the paper cutting in 2013 that lakh se nahi lakh se banenge lakpati, and in 2015 lakh se lakpati banne ki koshish. This was the heading in the newspaper after we have implemented this program. Then agarbatti making, again I'm giving the example of the SHGs which is involved in the agarbatti making, and we have all evaluated this study that 15,000 women has joined, and now the different villages of Churia, Dongargarh, Chuikhadan, Khairagarh block, and they are making the agarbattis and earning about lakh of rupees by this agarbatti making only, and selling the agarbattis in different states also. So these agarbattis are made by the flowers which we offer to the God. So Bapa par chade, Bapa means Ganpati Bhagwan. So Bapa par chade फूलों को एकत्र कर अगरबत्ती बनाएगी समूह की 1,500 महिलाएं. Then this is बापा पर चढ़ाए गए फूलों के इस्तेमाल से अगरबत्ती बनाने से बजट हुआ आधा, and महिला समूह ने कहा कि भास्कर ने के आस्था के फूलों से अगरबत्ती बनाने की दिखाई नहीं रहा. So these are all the stories which we have implemented the programs, and now they are working in a very nice way, and they are earning also. This is one of the story which case study I have taken for the vegetable cultivation through organic farming. So this is a Pyari Bai of the age 38 years, and this is her profile. She is having the 3 acres of land and 60,000 per year. And crop she was taking rice and vegetable, irrigation of tube wells and poultry birds. She's having a 25 with with her. So joined SHGs in 1998 for the credit and social interaction, participated in the awareness program. But when she got the training from the College of Horticulture, Rajanangaon, where I was training.
Professor Nashin, excuse me, can you complete it within the couple of minutes?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So this was the, she has been trained in different activities also. And now presently she's taking the 3-season crops and also taking the land on the lease along with the vegetable farming. So this is the another case study of the Dhaneshwari Mandavi, which I have told you that we have formed one of the company. So she is the rural woman. She became the CEO of the company, and now she is also involved in other projects also, and she's also making the and she's also giving the employment to the other rural women of her sector there. Then this is the tailoring and cutting first story of the empowerment of the women of my career. And now this lady now she is training the she became a master trainer, and she's training the women in the Balaghat district. So this is the past and present scenario of her. And when I met her in 2018 again to evaluate the evaluate the working pattern of her. So she was earning about the this social economic status has improved, that she has purchased the house in Badgaon with the help of this swing only, and daughters are married and well settled, son is well settled, and she's become the master trainer of the Balaghat district and has been awarded several times. So what makes the program evaluation very creditable? That supports the claim has been made, evidences and combination of qualitative and quantitative data should be there. Evaluator should have the necessary expertise and significantly should not be affected by the study. And the methods are the evaluation, evidences, opinion survey, interviews, and focus group, direct observation, case studies. And each and every method has it's got that advantage and disadvantage. And conclusion is that the neglected and mistakenly seen as a fault finding mechanism evaluation. Even though it is a learning process and past experiences guide us for the better future. And if you can't, you cannot measure it, you cannot improve it. So evaluation is very important for that. And I have given some tools and websites for the evaluation. According to the study, you can do it. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Ratna Nashin, for a very elaborate presentation actually about your activities and women empowerment. Thank you, Professor Nashin.
Thank you, madam.
Yeah.
Okay.
I now extend my warm welcome to our distinguished keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Garima Gupta. Dr. Garima Gupta is a doctorate in commerce from the University of Delhi. She also holds a degree in management. Her research interests include consumer behavior, retailing, marketing communications, services marketing, green and sustainable marketing. She has around 20 years of experience and handles marketing papers for MBA and PhD programs. She has participated in various training programs and workshops organized by Center for Professional Development in Higher Education, University of Delhi, Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, and All India Management Association, and has also been associated with Consortium for Educational Communication. She has published numerous research papers in diverse areas of marketing in various national and international journals and conferences. She is a member on the editorial board of Amity Business Review of Amity Business School, Noida. And Dr. Garima Gupta is currently serving as professor at Faculty of Management Studies, University of Delhi. I now invite our distinguished speaker, Professor Dr. Garima Gupta, to deliver the keynote address.
Thank you, ma'am. At the outset, I take this opportunity to thank Professor Ganesan for organizing this wonderful conference and giving all of us an opportunity to interact and share our views. We know that the world at large is undergoing a lot of turbulence, And this is just the right beginning to look at how the turbulence has affected the government, the policymakers, the firms, the industry at large, and what kind of research is required at this juncture to really tap on the change and work in the right direction. I have a very small presentation to share with you. My eminent panelists and co-speakers have delved into a lot of things. So I would just make an attempt to give you a different kind of a perspective. Now, let us start from what actually restructuring is. So we have seen that it is basically a process or a combination where the companies, the firms, the industries, they make an attempt to remain effective and competitive in the market, which is constantly changing. This requires a significant and comprehensive effort on everybody, because you have to react to the expected significant changes in the not only the internal situation of the organization, but also the conditions in which the organization, so to say, is operating. The restructuring attempt, I would say, is more a continuous and an ongoing kind of an exercise, with the successful firms constantly adjusting to shift themselves in the competitive conditions. The shifts underline the need for plans that don't just assume that everything will get back to where they were before, but you have to actively prepare yourself for the future. The need at this hour is to reflect upon the management philosophies and practices and align them according to the global change. Having said that, let me just take you back to what restructuring was like in 1990s and 2001s, and what kind of a restructuring are we witnessing as of now. So in 1990s, the restructuring was driven by a series of economic and technological developments that encouraged the firms to enhance their competitiveness largely through global tie-ups. So we saw that was a period of cross-border mergers and acquisitions and international strategic alliances that basically dominated the change. We also witnessed the era of LPG, liberalization, privatization, and globalization, where the other regulatory reforms really opened up markets. The global economic slowdown of 2001, it further intensified the adjustment pressures. There were falling profits, sharp declines in the equity markets, as a result of which we saw that the businesses could engineer and finance major restructuring initiatives from their side. What is the situation this time? Now, in the current period, the global restructuring has provided a boost to the firm efficiency, and it has helped to spur innovation by facilitating the diffusion of technology and production and managerial and marketing expertise. The situation differs considerably across industries and sectors. We know that some of the sectors have done well. They've got an opportunity from this turbulence, whereas others were not so lucky. The changes in the structure, scope, intensity of restructuring, it has raised challenges for enterprises and governments. At the same time, the pressure and need for such restructuring has increased as a result of weakened demand and diminishing market prospects. The drivers of disruption and change, there's a continuum, there's a big spectrum out there, ranging from digitalization to greater sustainability and social inclusion. In this week, I have analyzed the key trends which have given impetus to this global restructuring. One, COVID pandemic, digitalization, service orientation, demographic change, and of course, focus on sustainable development. I'll briefly touch upon all of these. When I talk about COVID, we know that the pandemic, it has really accelerated the longer term shifts in the economy. It's called for a rebalancing of practically everything, right from the product to the price to, really making the economy resilient. We also have seen that corporate restructuring has played a very pivotal role in helping the businesses to boost the strategic agility and future-proof their business models. However, much depends on a medical solution to the virus and companies' ability to adapt to the new environment. The drivers of demand and growth include people's comfort with and their ability to travel in future. Coming to digitalization, we've seen that over the years there has been a rampant infusion of information technology. So the advances in ICT has really enhanced the ability of the firms to communicate and coordinate across geographical borders. Consumers have a lot of information these days. They have got access to an overwhelming variety of goods and services along with the information about them. Open innovation and mass customization is what is going to drive the firms forward. And the digitalization has not stopped at this juncture, but we have seen the use of technology for humanity, where you are using big data, Internet of Things. The healthcare sector is practicing robotic surgeries. There are sensors, there's artificial intelligence, blockchain, you name it. And, ICT and digitalization, in fact, technology has taken over how the firms behave, how the consumers react, and how the entire landscape is unfolding. There, in this wake, I also see a lot of emphasis on service orientation. That is the dialogue that you engage, and practically everybody is no longer providing you the goods. They are serving you in some way or the other. So much so that the shift has taken place from being standardized to being more and more customized. So there is an individualization in all kinds of offerings that you are making to the market out there. The focus has shifted from output to processes. The firms are making an effort to produce the value, and customers are really participating a lot in this co-creation of value, right? So that long concept of me and mera wala Maggie, that has been stretched afar now, with customers actually stepping into the shoes of the producers and becoming prosumers. Now, because the consumers are influencing the way the innovation is being thought, it opens up a different plethora of opportunities for the firms to serve them better in the way in which they can, practice a lot of service orientation and keep them happy. There's a lot of demographic change also which has happened. It is expected that the current advances in the human capital will impact the future size and the age composition of the population. So while we are looking at the restructuring aspect, the focus also needs to be laid on increasing the capacity for global resilience by improving human capital through access to education and health. The focus on sustainable development, one of my co-speakers, he spoke at length on sustainable development and the energy saving thing. So there's a need to step up. We all agree that we are way back in terms of meeting our global sustainable goals by 2030. So if we really want that kind of a thing, an urgent and intentional transformation of socio-environmental and economic systems is called for. Some entry points which can be tapped in this direction and really offer you a promise for achieving the desired transformation at all three levels, that is the social level, the environmental level, and the economic level, is like human well-being and capabilities, focusing on the food systems and nutrition, energy decarbonization, and so on and so forth. Even the Global Sustainable Development Report of 2020 identifies 4 levers that would really enable the entry into these kind of areas, and they can be employed and synchronized together to bring about the required change. And these are the governance, economy and finance, individual and collective action, and science and technology. Having said that, I would now talk about where the research fits in. So we know that these strategic activities like the research endeavors, they are beneficial in improving and strengthening the environment in which the global structuring is actually taking place. So it has to be viewed as something which is going to have implications for the economy and is going to provide us insights of how the market is changing, how the economy is developing, what is being established, emerging, and new themes and new topics can be explored through research. The future research, as I look at it, The global restructuring strategies we know have changed. I spoke about how the situation was in 1990s and then early 20s and then now. So the future research is required to effectively tap the current trends, which I have highlighted, the 6 of the trends that actually have given this momentum to the restructuring exercise. Even the governments need to improve and strengthen the environment in which the restructuring is taking place. The research agenda in future actually has to cut across boundaries and multiple thematic areas. There's a need to address key issues such as climatic change, poverty, sustainable production, both in the local as well as global contexts, to prepare learners to understand and respond to the changing world. Social science researchers can begin to explore many aspects, like how digitalization can be used for farm production, value chains, food systems. A collaboration, so to say, is required between the biophysical and human dimensions. And from where I look at, I see that not only this, the research needs to focus on multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, and transdisciplinary approach, where from multidisciplinary, you would be taking across multiple disciplines. You are going to integrate and disseminate the knowledge and methods, and finally come up with a solution where you would be able to develop and meet the shared research goals, achieving a real synthesis of approaches. It's not one area, one domain, one theme, but it has to cut across, everything which has to do with the social transformation, the environment transformation, and the economic transformation. There is a need to develop the design thinking with human-centeredness, where you have to pave way for empathy, and you have to see the problem as a researcher through the lens of the other stakeholders. You have to develop an integrative thinking to go beyond ordinary and analytical. There has to be a level of optimism so that there is a belief that there lies a better solution to the problem. And not last, but a very crucial importance of relate to experimentalism, that is abandoning the known routes of change and thinking out of the box. That is all from my side. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Professor Garima Gupta. Thank you for enlightening us. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. And I heartily thank all the national and international keynote speakers for the venerated presence in this international conference. Thank you all for coming.